Mr. Singh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Some recommendation and some major resources, and please, those who are in attendance, pay attention to write down two key takeaways and at least put one in the chat towards the end. So, to share with you, I had a privilege and honor to look after 8 PhD theses, 7 in India, 1 here in the US, 15 master theses, and over 300 projects in corporate, academic, philanthropy, and professional society setting at various different places shown here. And this presentation is shared with both Dr. Sarika ji and Manish Singh ji, and it will be available to all the attendees for your record. Now let's look at where the project management is applicable. So if you are in a corporate setting, you want to deploy your strategic plan, project management is a backbone. And the research shows that only 30% of the strategic plans are deployed. Most of the rest of them, 70% of them, remain on paper. The main deficiency is project management is not properly leveraged. If you want to roll out any capital projects in any domain, you need to have the project management as a backbone and a discipline. Any improvement projects you want to carry out will require project management. The biggest project we all have in front of us in India is the National Education Policy 2020 implementation. It is a giant project started from 2020 to be completed in 15 years by 2035. Your master's and PhD thesis you work on, that's a project. Managing your career, project management can come in handy by setting the goals and creating a timeline and periodically reviewing, are you on track according to the plan, etc. Software development, enterprise resource planning, implementation, new product development, construction of bridges and roads, building airplanes, aircrafts, and ships. So project management is ubiquitous, is found everywhere, and this is one skill we all need to master to become successful in life, because the role of engineers and technical people is to work on the project. The business side, they will manage the project by allocating the resources, etc. So throughout the life we work on the project, and that's why it's very important. And on the personal level also, we do projects all the time. I want to just give you quickly the glimpse of two major projects at the personal level. In 1974, I got married here in the US, and the wedding plan and execution, entire project, I was the project manager. At that time, there was no catering, so we had a food prepared for 300 people. And second one was 1994. We built a house here in a suburb outside of Chicago, and I was project manager for the new house. And so think of project both at the professional level as well as the personal level also. Definition of project is very simple. It's a temporary organized effort to create a unique product, service, or a plan. So it could be a plan or execution of the plan. And characteristics are very simple. It's a single definable purpose with the three targets or the goals: performance, cost, and schedule. It's a unique, only one-time activity. It's temporary. There is a definite start and definite end, and it runs across organization lines, and you are dealing with something unfamiliar. Hence, the risk is part of project management. And this is one of the new findings we all need to keep in mind, that project management in general is a weak area for all domains in India as well as around the world, and a little later I'll make the comments. And something is at stake when you are doing a project. That means you have to deliver something which can improve the reputation of your organization, and something is important for the organization. Project management is essentially to integrate resources and tasks to achieve the organization's goal, and pay attention to why project management is advantageous. It will avoid the excessive workload by distributing the work across the team members. By reviewing the cost on a periodic basis, you can avoid the overruns for the cost. Along the way, people will build the right skills, and it will avoid the strained relationship as when the project is working well. It will prevent the scope creep. That means whatever is decided to work on and the boundary of the project, if you manage the project well, you will not add more stuff into it, and it avoids the duplication of work, and you can have better use of limited resources to achieve the goal for the organization. So in picture, it's the target you are going to hit: performance, cost, and schedule. Everything should be hitting right on the bullseye, and you need to worry about all three of them, not only one or two. And let me introduce the concept of soft skills. Says the comment was made earlier that all the engineers and technical people work on projects throughout their life, and the managers will oversee the projects. So to effectively complete the projects, one needs to integrate the concept of communication, leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, includes problem solving. Then only you can get the project properly managed, keeping in mind the importance of risk management. So in my classes at Northwestern University, so here comes the interesting slide, humor in project management. So there are 10 different segments of the pictures. Start with the top left. That's what the customer explained. That's the customer requirement, the contraption shown on the top left. And in reality, what the customer really needed is the bottom right. So a lot of time customers don't know how to express what they are looking for. They have a general idea, but they cannot be sure what they are really looking for. Now, as we progress from top left to the right, second graphic shows how the project leader understood it. So what the customer described and what the project leader understood, there's a disconnect. So train has left the station and you are not on the train. Heard how engineer designed it, it becomes more funny. Programmer wrote it, the picture gets totally distorted. Now they want to charge a lot of money. So the top right, how the sales executive described it, so they can collect a lot of funds from the customer. Come to the bottom left to right, how the project was documented. Do you see any? There is no documentation. Operations installed. Next one, customer was billed for a royal treatment, and help desk supported it, not much support, and ultimately what customer was looking for. So the learning from this slide is, if you really want to do a good project, you need to understand the customer requirement thoroughly and keep those requirements as the guide of the project and deliver it. And at every time when you are doing the review, have a touch point with the customers to make sure that they are going to accept the outcome of your project and plan you've created, so outcome will be satisfactory to the customer. And this is one of the foundation and fundamental we all need to keep in mind, because somebody is paying us to do the project in the corporate setting. Even in the academic setting, when you get a grant, you are responsible for providing the output to the sponsor. Now, glaring example of big projects which have failed. Sorry. So here the first one is Ford Motor Company. They were trying to install a new purchasing system. They wasted $400 million, and this is going back in 2006. When they realized that this will never succeed, they cut it off. Software error in UK Inland Revenue System. By mistake, they gave extra credit to citizens, $3.45 billion worth. The Denver International Airport wanted automated baggage system. They spent $250 million before they found out that it will never work, and they stopped the project. Big one is from the US Department of Defense, $6 billion kinetic energy interceptor program, cut off in 2009 when they found out that it will never meet its goals. And at the India scene, Ganga cleanup projects, as we all know, since 80s, huge amounts have been spent. However, Gangaji is becoming more and more polluted than ever. So these are the glaring project failures. In general, world over, research shows between 20 to 30% of the projects are successful, and particularly in the public sector, 20%, private sector up to 30% success. And later on, I'll share with you a simple solution how you achieve 100% success on your projects. So there is a beautiful article from MIT Sloan Management Review. We'll look at that as well. Now, what are the underlying causes for the project failures? One is when you don't plan the project well, or your planning is poor, you are more likely to fail on the project. There's no strong business case. Third bullet is extremely critical, and I'm going to share with you a sample project charter. Lot of time we do the project without any charter drawn, and the analogy is if you want to build a house or a huge building, you go to an architect and draw up the blueprint, and the project charter is a blueprint for the project. Without that, you can hardly do a good project completion. When the top management is not involved and not supporting, that project will not succeed. The communication internally within the team, across the team, when there is a breakdown, project will be in jeopardy. We looked at the requirement issue upfront, a lack of user involvement, lack of attention of the human and organizational aspects due to poor interpersonal or team leadership skills, lack of risk management. At India scene, I don't think we pay much attention to the risk management. So I'm going to share with you a few slides toward the end. How do we keep track of managing the risk on a given project? And if there is a poor quality control, project will fail, and there could be few other causes. So in order to understand the importance of planning, we can use Dr. Deming's cycle. And those of you who have learned anything about total quality management will remember Dr. Deming, the father of quality management. He, along with Dr. Juran, were sent by the US government to Japan after World War II to build up their industrial economy. And they taught them quality management, project management, process improvement, etc. So Dr. Cycle has 4 components: plan, do, study, and act. So you need 10% excellent planning, but 90% flawless execution will bring the success. Remember that the planning without execution is futile, but the execution without planning could be fatal. In my observation at India scene is we hardly do any planning. We are ready to take action, and without the good plan, we are not going to succeed in executing the good project management. Share with you some example of software project failure. And why software? Because it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. Excuse me, I'm running a little cold here. We had some freezing temperature below zero, minus 10 Fahrenheit for last few days. So the data from 1990 to 2009, 94 to 2009 on software success, the three metrics. Success means performance, cost, and schedule were achieved as initially planned. Failed means project had to be cut off no matter how much money you pump in. And challenge means either 1, 2, or 3 of the initial targets or the goals had to be restated. So in 1994, first set of data from UK for software project, it showed 1 out of 6 was successful. Moved to 2009, 1 out of 3. And what's the impact? If you look at the GDP world over around that time, $70 trillion, almost 9%, 6.2 trillion was the waste due to IT failure projects. So IT project failure accounted to roughly about 9% of the world GDP, and this is only one sector. And software is one sector, but there are many other areas where projects can go wrong. So this is the crux of the matter. When we don't manage the project well, there is a cost to the society where the resources are wasted away. Now look at the graveyard of pipeline here and substitute each of the pipe with your project. So in any enterprise, any corporation, any domain, there'll be lots and lots of projects starting. Some are stopped, some are restarting, but most of them are not completing. So it looks like a graveyard. Now it should not be this way. There is a better way to manage the project. The concept of aggregate project plan, beautiful article by two people, Wheelwright and Clark, originally published in Harvard Business Review in 92 and republished in 2003. So there are different ways you can allocate your project. So this was about new product development program at a company, very small company. And they had almost 30-40 projects running throughout the year. And most of them were not completing. So they took advantage of this aggregate project plan. And I'll give you simple definition for an automotive company for a few of the items, like derivative project could be a new paint developed for an automobile. Platform project could be the next generic new model coming out for the car. Breakthrough projects several years ago when they started coming out with the hybrid car, like Toyota started with it. Now everybody has worked on it, and real focus is electric vehicle. And then R&D projects, Sony came out with a high definition TV which required special goggles and glasses. When we bought the TV, we got the goggles, but there is not much transmission of high definition TV in certain areas. So the crux of the matter is this company which was doing the new product development, they chose few projects as a derivative projects, few projects in the platform projects, some in the breakthrough, and some as R&D projects. And that combination allowed them to really monitor and allocate the right resource to complete those projects and get the funding back from the customers. And customers were happy and they were giving more funds. So the key is the focus. You cannot do everything with the limited resources, both money as well as the right people executing the project. So you need to have focus. And another concept the large corporation and organization use is the PMO, Project Management Office, which is a service function. They report directly to the MD or the CMD, and they independently review all the projects coming in the pipeline at the end of the year and then select the one with the most impact to the customer, to the organization, with the availability of the resource and the funding, so that those projects get initiated and put in the pipeline. Once they are completed, the new one starts, which are next in line based on the priority assigned to them. And that concept, I think, needs to be incorporated when we are looking at projects for the entire organization before we jump into starting and creating a graveyard of projects. Now, here is the article I was mentioning, that to improve the chances of project to succeed from more than 20 to 30% to almost 100%. Excellent article from MIT Sloan Management Review. The project leaders need to overcome 5 crises of silence. And what are they? First is the team should plan around the facts. A lot of time what happens is the leaders at the institution or the corporation will dream up some ideas and ask others to carry out a project which may or may not be worthwhile to do. So you need to gather the facts and plan around the facts. Second one, the project sponsor should provide support beginning to the end. Third, the team should be faithful to the project management process. 4, there should be a constant review of progress of the risk. May I request everyone to stay muted, please? Thank you. Please go on a mute. Do not talk. Please. Sorry. Let's use the discipline not to speak up in between. When time comes for the interaction, we'll definitely have you speak or write in the chat. The team should honestly assess the progress and the risk. And generally, when you have a status review on a once a week basis, you just review the status using a color coding: red, yellow, or green. Green means you're on target for that week. Yellow means you are likely to miss the target, and red means you already missed the target. You don't discuss anything other than the status in the meeting, and those who come up with the red for the target for the week work with the project team leader offline, try to see whether any additional resource is needed, and try to bring back the task on target. And all team members must pull their weight, because everybody is doing some task or a subtask, and sum total of all the input becomes the output for the entire team. So if 1 or 2 people slack off, that team will be suboptimal. You are not firing on all cylinders. That's for the fun. Now we are going to take a look at a beautiful project management history going back to 4,500 years ago, when pyramids were built in Giza in Egypt. And I had a great chance to be in Egypt 4 times and visited the pyramids. They were built when there was no such technology as we have today, but they were built to perfection and they are still standing tall. 4,500 years ago, they were built. So let's listen to the project management historical view.
As if something were calling me, a voice from the past, like some sort of inherited memory.
So that essentially gives us the idea of how the project management has been used for many, many decades, many, many centuries. And structures around the world are testament to using the project management properly to manage the schedule, the cost, or the budget, and manage the performance as decided with the sponsor. Now, I want to share with you a beautiful article published in fastcompany.com. Initially, this was a free article, now they charge for it. This is one of the 8 articles my students in the graduate program at Northwestern University read, discuss within the team setting, and then write up a 2-page report on what are the key principles. Second one, what are these? How do they bridge the gap between theory and the practice based on the concept from the article as applied to the work they are doing, and what are the key takeaways from the article? That focus reading allows them to have better retention of the new knowledge and put it in use once they are back at workplace. So, according to Tom Peters, the author of this article, who was a partner at McKinsey, then he left the McKinsey as a company and started his own practice. One of the very successful consultant, very high in demand and charging lots of money to go and deliver one-day program. He has been to India a few times as well. Now he must have retired because these are the stories several decades ago. So he has 4 items: find and create a project, sell the project, that means sell the value of the project to the others in the organization, execute the project, and then handing it off. So project, as we saw earlier, it's a one-time activity, definite start, definite end. So once the project is done, it needs to be handed off, so it becomes the regular program on an ongoing basis. So in finding and creating your wow project, you need to have a personal passion for it, and he suggests that do a super fast approximation to refine your wow project. So 3M is a company which makes these yellow sticky papers. Make a little, try a little, and sell a little. That means you are doing it in a small basis, get a success, and continue to build on that success. Selling your wow project, you should have a 2 minutes elevator spill. That means what the project is and what are the benefits of the project to the organization and to the people in the group, etc. And you continue to build the community of endorsers at the organization. Executing the project, very essential guideline is to do series in rapid prototypes. So you execute the project doing small things in a rapid prototype fashion. Instructive to remember, fail often to succeed sooner. So if you fail at the front end of the project, you learn from the mistake, and whatever learnings you have, you keep using it till you finish the project, hopefully on time. Make the project fun and keep selling the value of the project, and don't lose your emotions. As the 4th item, once the project is complete, you have to hand it off to others so they can continue to run on a day-to-day basis. Don't forget to celebrate the accomplishment on a team basis, and do the self-evaluation, the project report or the post-mortem. What worked well, what did not work well, and what could have been improved if you do it again. Beautiful article. Now here is an example of a project life cycle, a representation. It could take any shape, but here we are showing it starts slow, building quick momentum, and then slow finish. But between the beginning to the end, it could take any shape. So this is a example of project life cycle. And what is the project management journey? One need to create a project charter, and I'm going to share with you the template very soon, which I use for my classes, where students use that to build up the charter for the project they are working on as a team, develop the project plan, work as a team to execute the plan, and then close out the project by having a final project report using the template based on the report. Very important to have the team project done with a small team managing each of their project work. Team leader should ensure a fully functional team, so I'll share some ideas based on Patrick Lencioni's work. Very critical to plan and prepare the project charter, so I'll share the example. And these are the various tools they use to complete their project: work breakdown structure, Gantt chart, set up the project goals, critical path method for managing the. Please stay muted, thank you. Critical path method to manage the schedule, communication, overcoming the crisis of silence. We already saw that MIT Sloan thing. And then we'll dive into risk metrics and risk management strategies. They do 4 different status report during the 10 weeks program, and they write up a project report using the template I provide to them as a skeleton. So teamwork, when a team is formed, team leader needs to ensure that the team is fully functional. So the basic requirement is team members should have a trust among themselves. And this can only be done when you are open to share your strengths and weaknesses, so be vulnerable to each other. Don't create artificial harmony with the fear of conflict, but do constructive conflict. Discuss the issues among the team members, and based on collective input, take a decision what you are going to work on, and everybody supports that work on 1 or 2 critical areas. When a task or subtask is assigned by the team leader, things should be crystal clear so there is no ambiguity, then people can commit to work on it. Once the work is assigned, hold them accountable for the outcome, because their input is very critical to continue to build the output for the entire team. And sometimes people get carried away due to their status or the personal ego, and they don't work on things, and team languishes, and you are not firing on all cylinders. So here comes the project charter. It's a 2 to 3 page project charter. They make it the beginning of the start of the project. So general information at the top: name of the project, executive sponsor, department sponsor, impact of the project, then who is a project manager, 1 person, team members with their specific roles, communicator, researcher, editor, etc., as we saw earlier, who are the stakeholders who are going to be impacted by the project, project scope statement with vision and mission for the project, what's the purpose and business justification, objectives in business terms and deliverables, scope, what are you going to work on and what's in and what's out, project milestones with specific dates, major risk, what can go wrong on the project. And then collectively as a team, you can make them as a high, medium or low, and we'll elaborate on it shortly. What are the constraints, internal or external dependencies, and communication strategies, who is going to do what, and what the frequency of communication, etc. and then there is a sign off by the executive sponsor, department sponsor, and project manager, etc. The purpose of the project charter is more like a blueprint for the house or the building. Without a charter, if you work on a project, that means you are moving in different directions, not knowing where you will end up. That's why I insist on a project charter for every project, which will require the team to sit down together, do the brainstorming, put all the information together, and they create, my students team create the project charter. I provide feedback. They take into account all the changes I have suggested and use that as a part of the final project report. Very critical. Now we rapidly go through some of the tools. Work breakdown structure. So you are assigned a project which is at level 1. You start decomposing it to level 2, level 3, up to the level where you can have a task or a subtask which can be assigned to a single individual. And keeping in mind, a person can have variety of subtasks to work on. The metaphor for work breakdown structure is, how do you eat an elephant? Answer is one chunk at a time. Of course, I am vegetarian and some of you may be, but that's a metaphor for the work breakdown structure. So each of my student team create a work breakdown structure for the project. They create a Gantt chart, and here they use Microsoft Project Professional as a software. It's expensive, but you can use Excel to create a Gantt chart, which is nothing but timeline. On the y-axis, you have number of activities. On the x-axis, when will the activity start, when it will end, and what are the dependency among the activities, etc. Critical path method. So as we saw, there are 3 targets, 3 goals you have to accomplish: performance, cost, and schedule. For the schedule part, once you are planning the project, you find out how many are the critical paths which you need to manage them well. Because if you miss the critical path, that means you are going to miss your schedule and you will not complete the project on time. And that could be bad for the organization as well. So here in the diagram, we have a number of activities happening, 11 to 6 to 7, which takes only 1 day. But the activity from 5 to 6 to 7 takes 1 week plus 1 week. 4 to 6 is another week. 8 to 6 is another week. So here, these 3 activity takes a whole week. It's a simple questions. Anyone got it? Let me go back to the presentation, and if anybody has figured it out, you can just shout or put it in the chat and let me know how many critical paths are there. I'll give you a minute. So the question is, with the hint I have given you, there are multiple critical paths, so let me give you the answer. 11 to 6 to 7 is not on a critical path because this can be accomplished any day of the week. But 5, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7 and 8, 6, 7 is on a critical path. Because each one of them requires 1 week here, you come to station 6, and then 1 more week to complete the project. So idea of a critical path is to find out how many critical paths are there, and then you have to keep an eye on all the tasks or subtasks on that critical path to ensure that you are completing them on time or within time or sooner. Don't exceed the original plan for the time to complete those tasks on a critical path. I hope you get the idea. That's very critical and very important. When you use the software, it can give you how many critical paths are there for your project. Now, one of the most important aspects in managing a project is communication. And all three components are important: verbal, written, and presentation. And all of them have to be concise, clear, and very effective, and each of them can be improved with the practice. Bottom half of the slide is very instructive. It says no matter what job you have in life, your success comes 5% from academic credentials, 15% from professional experiences, but lopsided 80% from the communication skills, and fill in the blank other skills such as leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, project management, risk management, etc. So, unless we keep improving communication, which should be a lifelong passion, we are not going to be successful on a project. And very small example, a company with highly technical work, people with 20 to 30 years experience were in the company. A new person comes on a scene, good technical knowledge, but extremely good on soft skills and communication and ability to get the work done working with others. He got promotion within a year. So the old timers got worried and went to complain to the manager. He sat all of them down saying that all of you techies, I can hire you dime a dozen. But to have a rare combination of understanding of technical aspects, but better than that, excellent in communication and ability to get the work done, because person has a better soft skills. That's how you progress in the work environment. So never ignore the opportunity to continue to improve your communication. Now, communication has to be two-way. So when you are working on a team and you request somebody for the information, so sender sends a message, receiver gets it. The receiver needs to acknowledge that yes, I received the message and the output is as expected, or if it is deficient, help me improving upon it to the sender. Most of the time it's a one-way street. Sender sends the input and the information, receiver gets it and forgets to acknowledge. Working on a project, short-term duration, you can't afford to have this gap. And next item is effectiveness of your communication, which requires feedback from the receiver, and that feedback has to be relevant, timely, and useful. Don't say it's not good. Specify what is not enough, what is missing. Request that item and send it back timely and make sure it's useful to the other person to make the correction. Budget control is very important. You are given a specific amount of funding to complete the project. Say it was a 6-month duration. So ideally you should be reviewing your spending the funds every month and sometimes every 2 weeks to make sure that whatever you have planned for the interval, money spent matches with your plan. If you are overspending, instead of completing the project by the 6th month, by the 4th or 5th month, your funds will be gone. Then you have nothing to work with in terms of the funding, and that will be a disaster for the project. Now, here is another concept. Department of Defense here in the United States, they used to spend a lot of money on small items from various vendors like screws, etc., they will charge $100+, which was only 1 or 2 cents. So they came out with this earned value management program. So look at 4 quarters. Four planned work was 25 unit, which was uniform for all 4 quarters. Actual costs varied 22, 20, 25, and 25. And the earned value, which is the value of the completed work, was uniform 20. Now, looking at this table, can anyone tell me which was the best quarter and which were the worst quarters? Anybody wants to take a stab at it? Very quiet group. Okay, 30 seconds more. Anyone comes up with the answer? Okay, pay attention to this quarter. Your actual cost is 20, earned value is 20. So earned value divided by the actual cost is 1-to-1 ratio. Second best quarter is quarter 1. You got the earned value of 20, cost is 22, so 20 over 22. Third and fourth quarters were the worst, where you are only getting 20 while you are spending 25 units for it. So this is how the government manages the vendors and subcontractors, what output they have done for the government agency for which they get paid. Okay, final item, the risk definition and risk management, and then we'll take a few more questions. So the risk comes from the financial side, mainly from the insurance industry, where the risk is defined as a multiplier of loss times likelihood. And so you look at your stock portfolios, those who are investing. If you've taken a loan from a bank, any of the insurance policy, life insurance, health insurance, etc., they look for the odds of person, age, and then they have statistical tables. Based on that, they decide the insurance premium. If you buy the lottery or if you are going to the gambling establishment, it's all managing the risk. So there was earlier a question, how do you manage the risk on a given project? So the risk occurs on a given project because of the delays in getting things done. Cost is increasing, particularly for a longer duration project. And sometimes you cannot meet the technical specifications, so you need to look for an expert who can help you to overcome the technical problems. So good risk management requires these following things. Brainstorm within a team what can go wrong. So keep asking that question. So if you are working on a given project, what will go wrong? So for example, setting up knowledge management system, they need a web-based backbone to collect the information from all the people working in the organization. So if the web-based tool is not proper, not user-friendly, people will not provide their input. If it is not done on a timely basis, your target will be missed. So things like that, what can go wrong? And as a team, you keep track of all the risk. Then you assign, and I'll share with you the risk metrics in the next few slides. Assign the priority in terms of high, medium, low, and then whatever is the highest probability of risk, you have a contingency plan. What is the plan to overcome that difficulty once something goes wrong? So here is the risk matrix 3x3. Likelihood of something going wrong, that's your risk definitions. And what's its impact on the project? What can go wrong with the project? So the items which fill up in the green, you don't have to worry. Yellow, keep an eye on it. But items which come up with the high risk or the extremely high risk, you need to have a contingency plan. That is a recovery plan if that risk becomes material. And students in project they work on, they develop the risk metrics and then their risk recovery plan and risk response plan as well. So if you know the risk, there are two aspects, whether it's controllable or not controllable. If it is controllable, you deal with the prevention, all the causes. And if it is not controllable, you need to deal with the effects with the help of the contingency plan. And this is a very important thing to understand, that before something goes wrong, from start of the project, you are working on identifying the risk, prioritizing the risk, planning for preventing the risk from happening. But somehow the risk happened, that event was triggered. At that point, you can only execute the plan which you have built during the earlier part, from the beginning until the risk came through. So you have to use the contingency plan, because once something goes wrong, you will not have time to think about what to do except to open up the playbook, look for your contingency plan and use it. To wrap it up, my recommendations are simple. We are weak in project management and practically no focus on risk management in curricula. And as I made the comment early on, we do projects throughout our life. Why not teach project management and risk management mainly in the team setting, so that they can have a easier time managing the project and bring better results? My request is faculty should first be trained in collaborative, experiential and outcome-based teaching method, which is the innovative pedagogy with continuous comprehensive assessments in improved teaching learning process. And this effort was shared at AICT Atal Academy. I'm very happy to share that for 22-23 cycle of Atal FDPs, this method was adopted, and I feel good that somebody listened, and Professor Dr. Mamta Rani Agarwal leading that effort understood the importance of it. So that methodology was included for the faculty development programs. Once faculty is proficient in using the collaborative, experiential and outcome-based model, that means no excess focus on the midterm and final exams. Let's get away from it. Instead, have comprehensive assessment through various means, like doing the live project, reading the article, doing the discussion, doing the reflection journal, etc. So, as I said, in my 32 years, most of the time, I don't have any exams, except when I was taught in India at few places they required, because of whatever requirements they had, 15% end term exam, 85% various ways to measure the learning and comprehension of the material they have been taught. So faculty should teach project management, risk management using the CEO model. And once students, faculty and professional becomes proficient with project management and risk management concept and application, they can do their best to help organization and build the nation. So with that, some project management and risk management resources. I require my students to pick up memory jogger.
One question.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to handle multiple high priority projects simultaneously, and further they are very much interlinked. So, is there any specific tool for that?
Yeah, so I think there is a progression. If you are working on a single project, it is project management. Multiple project, it becomes program management.
Okay.
Then you have more than few programs, it becomes portfolio, and many portfolio will put together at the enterprise level. So it's a progression of how you manage the project. So in there is a guideline that when you are managing multiple project, you have to look for some commonality and bottom line approach. So if you do something for a given project and if those things apply, go ahead, Sharmaji.
You mentioned one name, Dr. Mamta Rani Agarwal. In what connection
Yes.
did you mention? Because he is my one of the mentors, not mentor, other working for her in the National Youth Festival at Additional Secretary, Association of Indian Universities. Why did you mention
Yes.
her name? What connection?
Okay. So we were together on the AICT NEP 2020 Implementation Plan Committee when she was with AIA. And then she has now joined AICT and she was managing Atal Academy FDPs during the time I was working with her.
Okay, now she's not there. Now she is Additional Secretary in the Association of, and formerly she was Vice Chancellor of Geo University.
Yeah. But I think she's still with the AICT because I'm in touch with her.
No.
She left
Yesterday at the
AICT.
Zoom meeting. No, she is in AIU, Association of, maybe a members nominated member.
No, I think there is an update. As far as I know, she left AIA and joined AICT working with
No,
Professor
Doctor.
Anil.
No, yesterday only I met her as Joint Secretary AIU. Only yesterday at 2 o'clock on the Zoom meeting. We addressed, chaired the meeting.
So that's a new
Anyway,
information.
okay. Anyway, yesterday I talked to her. She has entrusted me the responsibility of the National Youth Festival at MET University, Noida. And we did a lot of risk management, which I don't want to share at this moment. My next question is, the country India is full of risks. What will happen the next day, nobody knows. Rail roko, dharna, pradarshan, suddenly let us hell number of risks in the country, hell number as compared to America or Japan. This is one of the greatest challenge. So we are become more tolerant to this risk, and it has become a part of our life. What will happen on the road, nobody knows. When I reach my home in 1 hour or in 3 hours nowadays, Kumbh. So we have become more accustomed to living in turbulence. So the part of the risk become a part of our life.
I know what you are saying. Yeah.
Yes.
But from the point of view of a project, one need to keep in mind. So, for example, you are going from your home to Ashoka. What can take longer? Some accident on the way, right? Some people doing a strike, coming on the road, blocking the roadways and all that. So you need to think about alternate ways to come to Ashoka. So that's a risk management planning.
Yes. Must forecast, must anticipate, and must prioritize them as to what is the most critical risk.
Correct.
So otherwise,
most of the time we don't even
survive. Indian managers will survive in USA very nicely in turbulent times. I am quite confident.
Yes, agree.
As one of you are there as one successful role model for us. There things are very calm, quiet, orderly. Things are going on here. Every step is a problematic step. Every step is a risk. Will the teacher come?
Yes.
Will the dharna pradarshan on the road? Train will stop. The truck will be stopped because of this Kumbh Mela. The inventory won't reach us. Logistic problems, breakdown, hell number of risks that
Yes.
encounters or surrounds us. But to minimize this, government is definitely working. Maybe large population, maybe survival of the fittest. There are many hell of a things going on in this country. Have you not gone to Calcutta? At least go to Sialda and see what is the risk. You may fall on the railway track. Somebody asks me, where is the hell? I will say, go and see Sialda railway station. You will find what is called hell. So it has become a part of us. So for you, it may be very disturbing. For us, we live with it now.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but that's
very unfortunate. But for project management, all this must be done because somebody is paying us money.
Yes, agree.
I fully agree with you. All those tips that you are giving has a lot of meaning.
Yes.
People won't realize, but when you come to the field or on the actual place, you will find communication. Very important part. Very important part. A small miscommunication in the New Delhi railway station that a special train will go to Prayagraj. Nobody heard the word special. And the Prayagraj normal train, people started running towards platform number 12. And some 20-30 people died. So,
I know.
The communication has proved his way. Okay, Dr. Sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharmaji, for your kind comments and very relevant. And keep those things in mind. To do it successfully, one needs to understand the concepts and apply them.
Okay. Yes, correct. It has to be very systematic.
Yep.
No chance to be left to the chance. Probability of risk must be as low as possible.
Definitely. Okay, Sarika ji, back to you.
Thank you so much. A very good morning, everyone attending this session in virtual mode. On behalf of Ashoka Institute Varanasi, it's a great pleasure and privilege to be with you all. And my most sincere gratitude to Dr. Manu K. Vora, who is a beacon of knowledge and inspiration to all of us. Sir is President and CEO, Business Excellence and Corporation, Chicago. He is also the founder of Blind Foundation. Sir, it's a great honor to Ashoka Institute that Sir is adjunct professor in Ashoka. And if I talk about his diversified area of expertise, the list is really endless. And his contribution to the society is unparalleled. And I appreciate and congratulate the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Head Dr. Rajiv Kumar Yadav, Coordinator of the program Engineer Manish Singh, all other faculty members under the mentorship of Professor S.K. Sharma sir for initiating expert talk series. And what a great start. Inaugural session by Professor Dr. Manu K. Vora sir. Sir, on behalf of everyone from Ashoka, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your incredibly insightful and engaging presentation on project management. Sir has got 6 long decades of experience and exceptional qualities with human values. And the entire presentation was so interactive, so enlightening, with a lot of practical examples, deep understanding of the project management. And I hope the learnings from here will take us to a long way. And all of us will try to implement the learnings from here in our respective projects in life. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with all of us.
Sure. It's my pleasure. Let's make sure that whatever people have listened, put something in action.
And we look forward for more such enriching sessions in future. You highlighted the importance of softer skills in their communication, importance of communication, team building. So, and there are so many important topics, important skills, those are required to execute any project. So in future, we look forward for your continuous support. Sir has been so kind with us for years, and in future also we look forward towards your support and constant motivation. And this particular session is very much useful for all the students as well as faculty to complete their project in time within the budget, and further it should be of quality to meet quality standards too. And we can see if a meticulous planning is required to execute even a small event like this webinar. So I'm grateful to everybody for their benign presence. Director of Pharmacy, Principal Ashoka School of Business, IQAC Chairman, all the heads, all the guests, my friend Ms. Roli, she's Director Administration in Law College in Lucknow, and all the experts from different fields, guests, and in future also we are going to have such sessions. Thank you so much, sir, for your generous support to Ashoka. And as sir said, we will recommend you. It's our wishes that you will get due credit for your services, for your support to the academic fraternity in India, to the society in India, and you will get Padma Shri. It's our pray to God and wish for that. And my thanks to everybody whomsoever attended this session for their time. And last but not the least, I deeply regret the technical glitches that occurred during the presentation. And in future, we will take care of all such things. It is also part of project execution. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, very kind of you, and thank you again. Thank you, Sharmaji, for your kind comments and good input along the way to keep it going. And thanks again to everyone who attended it, and definitely put something in action that will help you personally, and it will take you to next height in managing the project. So with that, have a great day and good learning and good implementation as you go forward. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Have a nice good night, sir.
Sharma ji, namaskar, Sarika ji.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. God bless you. Touch wood that you will make 100 years celebration.
Yes, sir. We pray for your long, healthy, and great life ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye.